All right, it is Tuesday night after the holiday break. Hope everyone had a nice Christmas or holidays, whatever you celebrate, and a happy new year. Uh, Hopefully everyone's was better than Denver's losing in a shootout to a club team. But I don't know. How was your break until hockey got back, Wes?
It was good. Spent some time with the fam. Went to the GLI. Western came up a little short against Michigan State. Made the finals though, so that's good. Good. Um, wasn't a bad game. Couple bad bounces, but all in all, I think the boys played well. They're off again this weekend, so there's no hockey this weekend. They did play Alaska Anchorage last weekend for a couple fun games that Western really kind of got back to their winning ways. Cam only has the one loss to Michigan State on his record right now, so they held it together with Hampton playing with Team USA, who congratulations to Team USA winning a gold in the World Juniors. Lots of NCHC guys there. A couple Bulldogs representing. Hampton representing Western got a couple games in. Head coach, obviously, Coach Carl from Denver. I believe
Brett Larson was
Larson
an
was the
assistant.
assistant coach again
Yep.
from St. Cloud State. So some gold medals coming back to the NCHC for the second year in a row. Zeev also representing Denver on the ice. Played big in that gold medal game. So
Yeah, that pass was sick in the overtime.
yeah, no, for sure. And he's definitely showing why he's one of the top dudes in the college hockey right now, and he's gonna do. He's definitely not gonna hang out long after the Denver season is over this year before going up to the NHL, I think.
Oh yeah, he better. Otherwise, I we're gonna have a real big bone to pick with Tristan, or I'm going to have a
I
real big bone to pick.
I think, I mean, if he stays in college hockey, I think the Iowa, a lot of people are going to have a bone to pick with Iowa for not, or Minnesota for not getting him up to the NHL. But no, he's playing really well. So non-conference schedule is done. It is NCHC play from here on out. And we did get a little some news for Western Michigan next year. They're going to be playing in another holiday tournament. This time they're making the trip to Milwaukee to play in the Quick Trip Holiday Face-Off with Wisconsin, Boston College, and Lake Superior State, the other three teams there. So December 28th and 29th, 2025 in Milwaukee.
The balmy, luxurious Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I mean, it's only a little over a 4-hour drive, so I might be making the trip over for that.
Well, yeah, you should. I mean that's not that far away. It's a couple hours away from Chicago. Just go through there. Uh, but yeah, kind of fun to have some hockey back. After the Christmas break. Really, the only team that I think is the most disappointed is Denver losing in the shootout to UNLV's club team.
I mean,
My
especially, I mean,
God.
over the break, yes, but they did get it together this weekend. They split with Maine. A couple tough games out east, but yeah, I mean, I think that was a little bit of a wake up call. But you're without your best defenseman. You're without your head coach, which they're not excuses. I think they're just the way things were. But if and we've seen Denver slip a little bit this year. It's not the same Denver team we've seen in years past, but I mean, 6-6 in a shootout is not the way you really want to spend the first game after a holiday, even if it's an exhibition.
Well, and then the fact that CC follows it up the next night with an 8
Absolutely
nothing win.
drumming them.
I mean, yeah, you could say those kids were all high off of beating Denver, one of the top teams in the nation, sans their coach and Zeev. But they really only were missing Zeev and Carl, and the coaches, it's the same coaching staff other than Carl. So they should know what they're doing. And Zeev does not make that much of a difference. I mean, he's a difference maker, but not to the point where you're going to a shootout with a club team. That's kind of inexcusable.
I'm
And
gonna see who else may or may not have been active in this game.
I mean they could have been using it as like we've talked about with the U18 team. Uh Arizona State had their exhibition series with them.
Well, I mean, oof, from a goals, a goalkeeper standing, this was not a great game for Denver. They did play two goalies, Matt Davis and Freddie Halleck, each played half. Technically, Freddie got more minutes because he played the overtime period. But Davis gave up 4 goals on 7 shots, or 11. No. Yeah, it would have to be 11 shots. And then Halleck gave up 2 goals on 6 shots
Jeez.
for 6 goals on 17 shots total. Yeah, okay, those were the right numbers. Reading the box score for shots and saves and goals is stupid. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
not a
just
good
not.
night for the save percentage. Good thing it's an exhibition and doesn't really count, right?
Yeah, I still, like you said, I think that's a wake up call for them. They're they're still a Denver team that typically reloads, but it's not a good look when you lose to a club team.
Mm-mm. No, 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 no.
And then it looks like,
Also, there was a split between Duluth and Bemidji State wrapping up their series that they started back in October.
yeah, that was a weird.
Duluth winning Bemidji winning the first game back in October. Who did I just say? Bemidji won the first game back in October. Duluth winning on New Year's Eve, um, for
And
an
then,
extended series there.
well, in St. Cloud actually, they I was just looking at this because they only played St. Thomas once this weekend, but that was an extended split series as well.
Oh, yep, yep.
Um, and St. Cloud swept both of those. That was a home and home.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, just some weird scheduling that's gone on this year within the NCHC. Um, not counting the tournaments, of course, because tournaments they happen. Omaha being out in California, Western playing in the GLI, Arizona State. Um, they had their own tournament. I can't remember what it was called. Um,
The Desert Hockey Classic was the tournament in Arizona, in Tempe, Arizona, that Arizona State won. Big win over Robert Morris the first night, 7-3, and then a 4-0 shutout win over Cornell. The Arizona State, I will say, has had a surprising season.
I don't know if I'd say it's that surprising though.
I think in the context of where they were predicted, it's been somewhat surprising.
I mean, predictions, we've learned this over the last couple of years. They don't mean anything.
They are sitting 10-7, 10-7-1 overall. Maybe the most surprising is they're 5-3 in the conference, with an overtime win and an overtime loss, sitting third here as we get ready to restart conference play. But honestly, I mean, they're playing well for sure, and they're definitely making the most of the opportunity of their first season in the NCHC and trying to earn one of those coveted tournament spots at the end of the year, both in the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament, and they're kind of on a good path to get there potentially.
Yeah, I will say, um, I think you and I both at the beginning of the year probably put them around that 4, 5, 6 seed, and I mean, they're sitting at 3. They're a point ahead of St. Cloud. They're 2 points ahead of CC, and then 4 ahead of Denver and Omaha. Not it really. They're right in the mix of where I thought they would be. I just didn't think they'd be sitting at 3 at this point in the season. Um, I thought they
Also,
would be down just a couple points, but it's so tight that it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And
according
then,
to the
yeah.
collegehockeynews.com pairwise ratings, they're currently sitting 15th.
Hmm.
So they are currently a bubble team. So a few more games um, away from locking something up here as we get closer to the end of the season. But everyone's gunning for you want to win your conference tournament. You want the automatic bid. You don't want to sit there and have to play the guessing game as to whether or not you're going to get there. Look what happened last year with Colorado. They finished what, third in the conference and did not make the tournament. They got jumped by two or three teams behind them actually.
Mhm.
Uh, but lots of hockey left to play. There's only been 8 conference games, so we have 16 to go for each team. Really, we're a third of the way through the conference season, and getting back at it this weekend with some big matchups.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna start with UMD. I was given a little bit of false hope uh on Friday with the win and well, the shootout win against Fairbanks. Fairbanks isn't a bad team, and it was like, okay, these guys are kind of figuring it out. They lost it a little bit late. I was kind of watching, listening back and forth, flipping between football and everything at my parents. Uh, Saturday, kind of keeping an eye on it. I've been seeing everybody's kind of as frustrated as me, and there's a Facebook page that UMD men's hockey fans or whatever it's called. Like, oh well, you have to remember they're young, and then like people are defending them, and then it's oh well, this was kind of the number one scoring recruiting class, and they're not scoring, and it's really tough for me to watch these games. Hopefully, Max and was it Cleaver, they come back and provide a little bit of a boost, especially going up against St. Cloud this coming weekend. But I'm not that confident. It was nice to get the win against Bemidji. Nice to get that first win against Fairbanks. Not really a huge fan of losing on Saturday to Fairbanks in overtime 2-1. That that just shouldn't happen with a program how UMD has been.
I mean, those Alaska teams do not roll over easy for sure.
No,
They
they
they come
don't.
to play, and any opportunity they can, they will take it. And so you've got to play 60 minutes and put those teams away if you get a lead. And it was a kind of a quick turnaround for Duluth. You had the game Saturday, then Friday, Saturday,
It was
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Friday,
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
Um, as our buddy Trevor would insult us for pointing out, but when you're used to playing with 6 days rest minimum, I think that's kind of a quick turnaround to shake off either the win or the loss, and then get ready to go for a completely different team.
Yeah, and I mean it these ones don't bother me as much, and I don't know what they did if they stayed in Bemidji on Tuesday night. I'm assuming that they would have, but these kids have time to rest in between. It's not like you're playing a game on a Tuesday like had to happen a couple years ago with whatever between St. Cloud and UMD. Um, and then you have to play a series that weekend, but still have to go to class and maintain your grades. This one, you're on break. You either stay there or you get to sleep in, you get some rest. I don't know. These Fairbanks kids, they had more of an excuse to roll over, but they didn't. And actually, I think it's Luke Johnson plays for Fairbanks now, former Bulldog. He transferred there this year. So, and he had a decent series from what I was hearing and listening to.
Yeah, Western also played host to a former player who transferred up to an Alaska school, that being Jared White, transferred up to Alaska Anchorage before last season. So he's with his second season with the Sea Wolves, and second or third? Second. Great. Now I got to freaking figure it out.
There you go. Take your time.
Shut up. You sit there in your loser hat and you shut up.
Hey, you know what? It's not my fault my quarterback sees ghosts. And that you have
I mean,
one of
we
the
gave you
best running
opportunities.
backs.
We threw 2 picks. You guys just couldn't figure out where the end zone was.
No, we could. It's just as soon
You
as we hit the
couldn't get
20,
there. You
as
couldn't
soon as we
even
hit the
touch it.
20-yard line,
They said,
we didn't know what to do.
Detroit Lions said, "This is my no-no square. Don't touch me there." And you didn't. You did not. Oh yeah, he transferred in 2022. 2022, 2023. So this was his third season.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is his third season with. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he played against Western when Western went up there 2 years ago in Cam's first season with Western. And Cam and Kirk were trying to figure out who was going to be the starting goalie, and then Cam won the job eventually and started every game since I think the Ferris series that first year until this year, where he's been splitting starts with Hampton, who is coming back. I'm sure we'll be back this weekend.
Yeah, I
So
know
he'll
our
come
guys
in.
are back this weekend, so
Yeah, so he'll come in the off weekend, get time to hang out with the boys, show off his gold medal, and then get back at it as they make the trip out to North Dakota next weekend, which
what do
should
you
be
think
a good series.
Bursch is gonna do? Do you think he's going to continue with Cam on Friday and Hampton on Saturday, or do you think he's gonna give Cam this weekend and let Hampton kind of get back into the swing of things
Um,
with the boys after being away for not that Ottawa is that far away, but it just a completely different team dynamic with guys from all across the country.
I think they'll go back to the way it was. They got this week to get reacclimated, basically a full week. I'm sure they'll maybe not go practice as hard, but I'm sure there'll be some practicing this week. Uh, Cam did have 4 straight starts, winning 3 of them, only losing again the Michigan State game. Hampton played, I think, 2 games for Team USA, both wins. But I think they'll just go back to the way things were. I think it'll still see Cam Friday, that first game at North Dakota, and then Hampton will probably get the Saturday start. But other than that, it ain't broke, don't fix it, basically.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, I mean, Cam's proven. I'm just thinking to give Hampton that little extra week and pull him aside and just say, hey, you're playing a little different system. You're playing with a bunch of different guys, even though you didn't play that much. We're just gonna give Cam this weekend, and uh then we're gonna go back to normal. It's not a knock on you. It's just wanting to get you reacclimated with the team. But then again, you have to think about it. as I'm talking, the World Juniors is only 10 days long because
Yeah.
they're advertising it for here. So he's only away for 2 weeks, and
Well, I mean,
a
they
lot of
were.
that 2 weeks is his winter break in general.
Well, I mean, I don't think the Team USA got much of a winter break because he would have gotten the first week of December because our last game, remember, Western finished like a week early-ish. Uh, they finished
Well, that's what I'm
December
saying.
7th, so there was nobody. They waited till the 14th before conference games were done, so he would have had that week to rest. But I don't know when they actually reported for Team USA, whether it was like the 15th or midway through that second week in December. So we had that week off, and then he'll have this week off. But other than that, I think they were playing or practicing, preparing for the tournament, and then preseason games. Uh, the travel there, the travel back. I mean, I think his break was shorter than most. Well, most compared to the other 97% of college players who didn't play for Team USA. Um, and he saw less game. Well, basically, probably saw about the same amount of game time he would have seen had he been at Western, because he probably would have gotten one of the games of the GLI and one of the games this weekend. So he still would have played
Yeah.
2 games in that same period. If anything, he might be a little more loose. Like he won't have as much, or he'll be like pretty much on par with the rest of the team as far as like what rest was, when they last played, um, things of that nature. Because he wouldn't have had the same try to get reacclimated from an actual break like the rest of the players did. He didn't have the tournament, but he did have the World Juniors, which went till this last week, a couple days ago here. Uh, so yeah, he's basically on the same schedule that Western's on, with the break this weekend and then going into North Dakota next week. So I'm pretty sure they'll just go back to the way it was, and get him in practice and shoot at pucks at him there. Um, but I don't see really a reason to.
I think that'd be, and
And
no
and
offense to Trevor, that like I don't think he would have a good answer, but maybe he knows guys.
and to me, it
What's
seems
the
like
what's the difference between eh, playing with your team and then going to play with a whole, I
I
mean, he has a certain thing, but you go to a new team, you're with that team for a while. Trevor had a little bit, his career is a little different. But what is that difference between getting guys from BC, like Hockey East, Big Ten, NCHC, like putting them all together, trying to put this cohesive group together in just a couple weeks, win a gold medal, and then go back to your team? I mean, hockey's hockey. At the end of the day, it's like any game. They're the basics, but how much nuance is put into it by the head coach, or is it just trying to get guys to work together? I have a lot of questions around that.
I think, to me, the way I would see it is because he's the like we're talking about the goaltender. He probably has the least adjustment to make. Like his adjustment
Hmm.
is going